Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another Optc video, and in today's video, we'll be into the 10-star Garps challenges and doing another one team can complete all Garps challenges. Now, when I first originally did this series, the Quick variation was arguably the hardest to build, as Quick sort of just struggles for the most amount of subs, but we do have a new addition on Optc Global that is the new V2 Vivi Rebecca. So in today's video, we're hopping into Eneru, Whitebeard, Revolutionary Army 1 and Heavenly Demon 1 with the same Quick team. Now, let's take a quick look at the team. Now, if you guys didn't summon for the new Waifus, understandably so, they're not exactly the most desirable units for most accounts. Shirahoshi, very good sub. Vivi Rebecca, I can understand the skip. But if you guys did summon, you managed to pick both these up and you are struggling with the Quick variant, this particular team does it very, very easily. And it is the team you see on screen right here. Now, if you guys don't have these units, I will leave a card for my original one Quick team beats all, but this is the team we are using for today's video, and spoiler, it does it very, very easily because of the amount of healing that Vivi Rebecca has. So V2 Vivi Rebecca is our leader, and we are using double Vivi Rebecca for both of them. Their special removes bind and special bind by 6 turns and doubles Cerebral and Striker's attack for 1 turn, and then becomes themselves, well, Vivi Rebecca for 3 turns. So their switch ability is very, very good as well. They can give a chain multiply buff by 1.25. They give slot bind removal on themselves and 1,500 healing. This character is just basically built around healing, and with the support of V2 Shirahoshi, it's very, very easy to like stay above max HP. Their special when you are in their dual form, their captain ability, is a 4 times captain with 1.3 times color affinity. They're a 1.3 times HP boost. Reduce the chance of landing on recovery and TND, and heal 4,000 at the end of turn. When you're not in their dual form, they're pretty much the same. They do like 2,000 healing at the end of turn, and they are a Dex and a Quick variant, which is very, very good. The next unit we have on the team is actually Magellan. This Coliseum Magellan is actually really, really good, as you guys know. 2-turn special, setting defense to 0. He also removes defense up, which is great, and he does poison and it does a conditional. Very, very good for like killing mob stages on Heavenly Demon 1, as well as removing the defensive effects on most of the 10-star challenges. The next unit we have is Ryoiin. Ryoiin is awesome. Not only does she give a little orb boost, nothing too great, like I think it's a 1.75 times orb boost, but the big reason she's here is so we can actually use the pudding support. As you guys know, Sanji with the pudding support helps out a lot, as you can get rid of stun on the final stage of the Eneru challenge, so utilizing Ryoiin here is super, super nice. We also have the support of Sabo on our Vivi Rebecca, so we get the special reverse. It's actually handy on the Eneru stage, but other than that, it's not really used too much. Next, we've got Shirahoshi. Shirahoshi, honestly, one of the best subs in the game. No clap. Their special removes all poison, recovery, down, paralysis, removes sound effects, and then does Despair and Burn by 7 turns. Changes all slots into Rainbow. Does overheal, provided with you have the switch ability and a 1.2 times chain multiplier, as well as a bunch of healing. It's very, very strong, honestly. Like, as a sub, these guys are just absolutely insane. Their switch ability removes Bind, Despair, Special Bind, and Slot Bind by 1 turn, and heals 1,500, as well as the 2 times overheal. So, as a sub, getting that overheal is so good, especially for Vivi Rebecca, because I think we have like something like 6,000 end of turn healing every single turn. On top of the switch affiliates, we have like 10,500 healing. It's absolutely wild. Next, we've got Kaku. Kaku's an attack down remover as well as blind paralysis by 5 turns. He does 200,000 times damage and changes all slots into his own types. With his key, he goes down to 10 turns. Because he does damage, we can actually use the support of Smoker, which is super, super nice. Not essential, but definitely super nice. So, that's the team. Let's hop into the runs. Let's take on 10-star Garp Challenge. Alright, so for the first Garp Challenge, we're heading into Heavenly Demon 1. Now, against Heavenly Demon 1, the big gimmick is Despair and Paralysis. So with this particular turn, we are getting around Despair, utilizing our Shirahoshi, and we actually also get around Despair with them as well. So on stage 2, we come up against the Vacuum Cleaner Lady Chick. Now, I have sped these videos up because the problem with this particular team build is there is a lot of stalling. In saying that, it is actually one of the safest teams I've ever used for all these challenges. Every single like challenge that you see was my first run on every single 10-star with this particular team. So it actually did it stupidly well. As you can see on the Vacuum Cleaner Lady Chick, we can easily just use the Vivi Rebecca special, remove the Despair with Shirahoshi, and then we can easily take out her on that first turn. On the next turn, we come up against Rebecca, who has defense up. We can use the Kaku special. If you hang on to a Rainbow Orb as well, you can give yourself a full bottle of Rainbow Orbs as well. And then with the special of Magellan, we can set the defense to 0, get a poison mechanic as well as a conditional boost, and with that, with the chain multiplier buff as well as color affinity with our Vivi Rebeccas, we can easily take him out. On the next turn, we come up against the 6 Dressrosa units. Now, normally this stage would be a little bit daunting, provided that you, like, wouldn't die. But with this particular team, it actually has no issues whatsoever. And for this particular stage, we can just stall infinitely. If you keep Dagama or Hack alive, they attack every 2 turns, and they do about 16,000 damage, which seems like a lot. But if you're healing 10,500 every single turn, it is absolutely nothing. So just make sure that you take out all of the units around the outside. I think I used the Reiju special there. Yeah, I used the Reiju special to get the orb boost for this whole team, actually. Reiju will boost Quick, Sai, and Dex characters' orbs, which this whole team is, no matter what dual unit you switch into. And that 1.75 orb boost, as well as giving the left-hand side orbs, seems pretty meh on paper, but it can actually help out quite a lot. Reiju's basically here just so we can use the pudding effect. She is like a, I don't know, she's not a limited character. I think she is actually, now I think about it. She's like one of those limited Christmas characters and whatnot. But she actually helps out quite a lot, and to be able to get that pudding support to remove the stun is just like essential, but her special is just a bonus. And the fact that we can have our whole team boosted by that, it's actually super nice. So I think on this particular run, we do keep Hack alive, and then we can just sort of stall on him, get all our specials back as we do pop them earlier in the run. So I'm going to fast forward until the point where we get our specials, and then we can take out Hack. On to stage 5, we come up against Bardo. Now against Bardo, he gives Despair, and this is why we wanted to stall in the last stage, because we do need our Shirahoshi special back. We can switch with Shirahoshi, use their special, remove the Despair, and get all that healing back that we lose with that Despair. So with the overheal mechanic that Shirahoshi can provide, this team ends up having like 77,000 or 76,000 if you want to be exact. But when you switch, sometimes it goes up, I guess, and use their special. But around 78,000 HP is just absurd for what these girls can do. Because they have so much healing, like it's so much HP. Now I was hoping to keep a Rainbow Orb on Kaku there, but it wasn't meant to be, unfortunately. I think if you attack in a better, a better rotation, you can do more damage. But once you move into the treble stage against Treble and his 3 lackeys, we can use the special of Kaku here. Kaku can remove the paralysis, and then with the special of Magellan, we can get a conditional boost, set the defense to 0. But the big reason we want to use Magellan here is to give the poison. The poison doesn't do too much damage, but on this particular stage, it actually kills all the mob enemies in the back, which is super nice because they're the ones that do all the damage. But as you can see, like, we still have so much HP that even if we take the shot from them, it's really not that big of a deal, as we actually have so much goddamn HP that even if he's still like 30k, we're still hunky-dory. But the poison does the trick, kills the mob enemies, and then we can take out our boy Treble. Moving on to the final stage against Doffy, this is where things can get a little bit tricky. Ideally, you want to move in as Vivi as your captain, or the quick variant of Vivi Rebecca. Mainly so, this Cannoneer on the right-hand side of Doffy will actually interrupt, will basically cancel the quick, what am I trying to say? The quick color affinity, and then we'll actually run away. Now, on turn 1, we use the Reiju special, so we get a cheeky little orb buff. But the big reason we use Reiju special here is so we can actually just take out all the mob enemies. On the next turn, we are going to switch with our Vivi Rebecca. Then we can use our Vivi Rebecca special. Make sure that you try and be in the Dex variants if you can. Mainly because obviously quick does less damage. Even though actually we lose the color affinity, so it really doesn't matter actually now that I'm really thinking about it. But with that 2 times color orb boost and 2 times attack boost, we can actually do quite a bit of damage to Doffy. On the next turn, we can switch with Vivi Rebecca once again. We can get that chain multiplier buff, and then we can take out Doffy easy peasy. So that was Doffy 1. Actually was very, very simple. Just stall on that middle stage and you are all good to go. Moving on to Revolutionary Army now. Revolutionary Army 1 is built around basically bind. That's the big gimmick. And with this particular team, with Vivi Rebecca, we can actually get around bind fairly easily. But we do have Kaku as well. So Kaku is another option to get around the bind. On stage 2, we come up against Kuma. Kuma has 2 turns of defense up, so this is where we're going to use the Magellan special once again. Magellan's going to set the defense to 0 to make it very easy to take out Kuma. And with the special of one of our Vivi Rebeccas, we can get a 2 times orb, 2 times attack, and just easily clap this particular stage. Moving on to the next stage now, we come up against Robin and 4 of her girlfriends. They give us 2 turns of bind on our captains. With the Kaku special, we can actually remove the bind because it isn't on our captains. But unfortunately, we are still stuck with a full board of bomb orbs. We get the attack boost from Smoker on this stage, which is pretty nice. Now, ideally, I wanted to use the Reiju special to give my left-hand side orbs. But Reiju actually only rotates type orbs. She doesn't rotate bomb orbs, so the orb boost there actually just meant nothing, and it was sort of just waste of a special. But for the sake of the video, I just kept going, and funny enough, like, we just actually beat it anyway. So this is what I was saying at the start, where this was actually my first run. I was still learning how the team operated. I sort of just built it in, like, mind of what all of the 10-star Garp challenges do, not really what the team can actually provide and what the characters actually do. As I mentioned in Heavenly Demon 1, Reiju was basically here just for the pudding support, and her special was just a bonus. But, look, it is what it is, and I used a special, it did nothing. So probably hang on to that special there if you are using this particular team. On the third turn against Robin, I think it is, she's going to turn all your orbs into quick orbs, and with that, it's full board orbs for us, so we can just easily clap her there. On the next stage against Ivankov and Inuyasuma, Inuyasuma is actually going to blow away one of our middle row units, which can be a little bit annoying, but, like, we have so much HP, like, it's just doesn't even matter. Like, 53k is actually so much HP, and the consistency of healing on this particular team as well is actually wild. So once we switch into our Rebecca, we can have color affinity on Inuyasuma with our 2 dex units, and because Vivi Rebecca give us that 1.3 times color affinity boost with their captain ability, we actually just do so much damage. On the next turn against Ivankov, we can switch into Mansherry, not Shirahoshi, Mansherry, and that way we actually have color affinity on Ivankov as well. Now, unfortunately, we can't kill Ivankov on that first turn, but because this team has so much HP and healing, it really doesn't matter that much. We can easily just switch back into Shirahoshi on the next turn, switch with our Vivi Rebecca's for more healing, and easily take him out on the next turn. Once Ivankov dies, as you can see, we're getting 6,000 healing and then a turn, plus the 3 switch abilities, which is 1,500 each. So a total of 10,500 healing every single turn. It's insane. It's actually insane. On the next turn, we come against Morley and Bella Betty. Now, Morley has a 1-turn barrier, which is an extra health bar, and Bella Betty gives herself attack up. Now, Bella Betty's doing all the damage here, so we ideally want to try and take her out as quickly as possible, but Morley actually locks onto himself. Now, unfortunately, without any specials, we can't really do that much damage, but if you do manage to switch into Mansherry, you will do a lot more damage because you do have color affinity against Morley. Now, we can actually just tank shots against Bella Betty, as long as we are overhealing with our Shirahoshi Mansherry switch ability, as well as the switch abilities of Vivi Rebecca. It's really not that big of a deal if we have to take 3 turns on our boy Morley here. As long as we can kill him by that 3rd turn, that's all that matters. As you can see, Bella Betty actually hits pretty damn hard, but once we switch back into our Mansherry, we can easily take out Morley on the next turn, and hopefully we can take out Bella Betty as well. So we are actually going to use the special of our Shirahoshi. That way we can give ourselves a full board of orbs, guaranteeing mainly an orb on our Psy unit. And we also get that 1.2 times chain buff. With the switch ability of Vivi Rebecca, the 1.2 times chain buff is way bigger than what it actually seems. The 1.25 times chain multiplier on top of that 1.2 times chain buff, as you can see, like by the 4th unit, we're already at 3.5 times chain lock, which is just absolutely wild. If you stack that again with like lawless chain lock and stuff like that, you guys can just you can just do some crazy things with this particular setup. On the next turn against Lindbergh and Carousel, we have a bind on our right hand side unit, so that's why putting Kako on the left is super nice. We can use his special to remove the bind, but we are still stuck with a full board of block orbs. Lucky for us though, Lindbergh and Carousel are both on a 2-turn cooldown, so we can actually just put a few pot shots into Carousel, and then on the 2nd turn, we can start focusing on taking them out by using a Vivi Rebecca special. So we are going to switch with Vivi Rebecca first, that way we can get that chain multiplier buff. The beautiful thing about going into the dual form of Vivi Rebecca as well, I don't think I mentioned this in the intro, was that you actually get all colors matching. So all of your orbs are matching, besides recovery and tandem. If you're running a full cerebral team, you can actually abuse that with the Zunisha ship, but as a captain, they actually reduce the chance of landing on recovery and TND anyway, because they give so much heal, like it doesn't really matter about recovery orbs, and it's super nice because just for 3 turns, carrying over cross stages, you basically can just guarantee yourself a full board of orbs, and if you're using their specials, that 2x orb boost becomes massive. Against Sabo Koala on this final stage, they do give us a 50% HP cut, and they give us burn, but just with one Vivi Rebecca special and the Magellan special, setting the defense to 0, getting the conditional boost, getting 2x attack and orb boost, you can just easily take out Sabo Koala. Then on the res, we can use the Raju special, give ourselves an orb boost, and finish them off easy peasy. So that was Revolutionary Army 1. Fairly simple. Let's move on to Whitebeard now. So against Whitebeard, the big gimmick is attack down. Attack down is really the big thing you want to get around, and a little bit of paralysis, but attack down is what pops up twice. With Kaku, especially if you've limit break keyed Kaku down to a 10 turn cooldown, he can actually remove it all, which is super nice. On turn 1, make sure you do keep an orb on Kaku. That way when you use the Kaku special, you're going to get a full board with quick orbs, and that way it just guarantees yourself a full board of matching orbs. With the Smoker support, we can get a 1.75 times attack boost, and then we can actually just take this particular stage out against the Watermelon Head guy. As not only do we have a 1.75 times attack boost, but if you switch into your Mansherry, you can actually get color affinity too, which just, even though you don't have the attack boost from Smoker, does way more damage than the quick units combined. On the next turn, we come up against, I think it's Ryuma, Atmos, and Higuma. I think it's Ryuma. I'm not 100% sure. But they're going to give us 3 turns of special blinds, and they are going to... Oh, Higuma is going to attack every 2 turns. If you don't kill Atmos on the first turn, he gives you recovery down. But like that's not a huge issue with this particular team. As long as you do kill Atmos, you're pretty much good to go. And then against the Chainball guy, if you don't kill him on this second turn, he's actually going to blow away, I think, 2 of your random units. So ideally, you do want to try and kill him. I don't think on my run, I think I stuffed this up, and I actually don't kill him. But, like I said, this is my first run using this particular team on all of these 10-star challenges. And just the security this particular team has is just absolutely insane. So, we do cop the blow away, so we are just going to have to store that out. But just with our switch abilities, it's not an issue at all, which is just absolutely crazy. Like, we end up going down to 17k HP, and as you guys will see with the rest of this run, it actually just doesn't even matter. Like, we get back our HP so goddamn fast that dropping below our, like, actual HP pool doesn't seem scary at all. Against Inuyasuma, Speedgear, and Fossa now. Now, Fossa can be on a 4 or a 2 turn cooldown. Depending on what that is depending on what you really want to do here. You want to use the Vivi Rebecca special no matter what, but ideally, if Fossa's on a 2-turn cooldown, you really want to do some damage to our boy Fossa. Otherwise, it's actually going to hurt. Now, lucky for me, I got a 4-turn cooldown, and if you need to, you can actually use the Shirahoshi special or the Shirahoshi special on this particular turn to make sure that you guys can survive. And if you need to stall on Fossa, definitely stall on Fossa. Even if he's on a 2-turn cooldown, you can still stall on him. He hits pretty hard, but with the special of Shirahoshi, you can survive. But like, if you got lucky like myself and he's on a 4-turn cooldown, you can easily just use those 4 turns and just basically stall it out. You do want to make sure you kill Speedgear on turn 1. And then, like I said, depending if he's on a 2-turn cooldown or a 4-turn cooldown, depending if you're going to kill him on the 2nd turn or on the 4th turn like myself. Now, you can, like I said, you can stall on Fossa or you can stall on, what's his name, Isu. Either of them will work fine. On the next turn, you come up against Jozu. Jozu has 3 turns of defense up and damage reduction, and unfortunately for this particular team, we don't actually have a way to get rid of 3 turns. But we do have a way to get rid of 2 turns of damage reduction, and we can set the defense to 0 with Magellan. So, on the first turn, we are actually just going to stall a turn. Just let him do some damage. He does hit pretty hard. On the 3rd turn, he does like a vigilant punk shot, whatever that does. It's just big damage, but like I don't really remember him doing it in the show. He might have blocked Mihawk's attack with that. But after we pass the first turn, we can use the Magellan special. Magellan's going to set the defense to 0, get the conditional boost, and then we can actually use the Raju special. Now, Raju's going to give us an orb boost, and ideally you want to be in your dex variations of Vivi Rebecca or just Rebecca herself. That way you get the color affinity buff. You also get the orb buff as she, Raju rotates the left-hand side. And with that, we can just easily take out Jozu here. Once Jozu dies, he gives us normal attacks only, which is a little bit annoying. Well, normally it's a bit annoying for the traditional Kaido teams, but any other team, it's not that big of a deal. But normal attacks only kind of sucks. Everyone hates normal attacks only. There's nothing good about it, but look, it is what it is. On the next stage, we come up against Marco and Vista. They give us 3 turns of attack down, 3 turns of chain lock, and 3 turns of paralysis, which is super, super annoying. The chain lock is the big thing. That chain lock is actually so frustrating to get around. On turn 1, basically, we're just going to have to take damage here. We really just want to try and put a few pot shots into Marco if we can. But because we have so much HP, we can actually tank shots on this particular stage. Now, Marco and Vista are actually going to hit us ridiculously hard. I think it's something like 30k they can hit for. Let's find out. Yeah, 32k. They hit for about 32k every single turn. Now, for most teams, getting hit by 32k is not a fun time. But for this particular team, we just get hit twice and we still have over half our HP. Once we've passed the first 2 turns, we can then use the Shirahoshi Mansherry special, give ourselves a full board of recovery orbs, give ourselves a full heal back to that, 70,000 mark with the switch abilities of Vivi Rebecca. And because we get the chain buff mechanic as well as the additional buff mechanic, normally we would do a lot more damage, but unfortunately we're still stuck with that chain lock. So we have to use that Vivi Rebecca special to make sure that we can actually take out Marco. On the next turn, we can basically just take out Vista, easy peasy. And then move on to the final stage against Marco and Ace. So against Marco and Ace... Oh, did I say Marco and Ace? I mean Ace and Whitebeard. Against Ace and Whitebeard, they are going to slot bind our top and bottom row. If you have a friend, Vivi Rebecca, that has slot bind removal, you can just remove that. It's not that big of an issue. But with this particular team, it's actually really nice because with Vivi Rebecca, you can actually get access to a dex variation. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we stay as one Vivi Rebecca that has a dex variation. And then we can use the Vivi Rebecca special to get the 2x attack, the 2x orb buff, take out Ace, and take out Whitebeard in one very easy turn. See you later. So there you guys go. That was Whitebeard. Easy peasy. Does it very, very well and very, very comfortably. On to the final 10-star Garps challenge. We are coming up against our boy Eneru. Now, Eneru is arguably the hardest. I keep saying this. Most people will argue that it is the hardest because of the stun, the fear, and the special bind on the final stage. With Vivi Rebecca, their switch ability can just remove the special bind, and then their special itself can actually remove special bind as well, which is super, super nice. On stage 2 against these Skype units, they are going to bind and special bind 3 of our random units. Basically, we're just going to use one of our Vivi Rebecca specials just to remove all of that, so we have access to our units for the rest of the run. Vivi Rebecca's special removing bind and special bind is super, super handy because their special bind, their switch ability removes special bind as well. It makes it super, super easy to remove those debuffs, which is super nice. On the next turn, we come up against Tweedledee and Tweedledum. They are going to have a 2-turn Great Barrier for 3 turns, as well as give us Burn. What we can do here is we can use the Nagellan special, as we don't really need it for this entire run. Set the defense to 0, get the conditional boost against the poison, as we can poison them as well. And with the Shirahoshi Mansherry special, you can actually switch, get the chain buff, and remove the burn. The big thing about that stage is actually getting burnt. But with Shirahoshi Mansherry special, we can just remove the burn and actually just clap him in one turn, which is super, super nice. On the next turn, we come up against Wiper and 2 of his Skypiea friends. We are going to take a little bit of time on Wiper here, basically just to get our specials back. I think Wiper blows away some units after like the 3rd or the 4th turn, which, again, for most teams would actually be a bit of an issue. But for this particular team, it don't mean jack diddly squat. The amount of damage we can output on, like with this team, and the amount of healing it has is just bonkers. With V2 Shirahoshi in the game, it just opens the door to so many units. Now, I don't know if you guys saw my Wano Law Shirahoshi Kid Forest run. I'll try and leave a card at the top of the video right here for you guys. I might forget, so I do apologize. But the overheal mechanic, especially on a team that can give, like a captain that can give healing, is just gnarly. Wiper's attacking for every 2 turns, but we are still healing back more damage than he can output. If you can heal more damage than the enemy can output, it makes life so easy. Like, sure, it's a bit brain dead, I guess, but like, we can just sit here and just stall, get all of our specials back, and then deal with the second half of the content. So, healing is a very overpowered mechanic. I do understand it's not the most fun mechanic in the world because it does take time, but it still can't be underestimated at what you can actually do with the capability of characters that can heal, and especially with overheal now. But once we've sort of stalled out a little bit, getting our Shirahoshi Mansherry special back, which is the big one, we can then easily take out Wiper and move on to the next stage. Now, ideally, I forgot to mention this, you do want to try and use your friend Vivi Rebecca Captain special, mainly because once you get to this particular stage, we are going to get our special reversed, and this is where the support of Sabo kicks in. Sabo gives us 3 turns of cooldown if you get special reversed, and because it's on our captain, we're going to get our special back. You can stall out on Wiper a little bit more if you need to, but then we can use our Vivi Rebecca special on this particular stage to make sure that we actually kill the dude on the ball. Very, very important that we do that. Otherwise, he is going to give us attack down. Now, It's not the end of the world if you don't kill him, so don't stress if you don't, or if you don't want to use the Vivi Rebecca special if you didn't stall enough. I totally get it. You can actually use the Kaku special if you do get the attack down. So again, don't stress if you can't kill him on this particular turn, but with the Vivi Rebecca special, it is very easy to do so. Then ideally, you can hit with your Shirahoshi at the final shot, and that should actually kill the wingnut looking dude. Cannot remember his name either, honestly. You can let me know in the comment section below what his name is, but I'm going to apologize because I'm not going to remember it. It's just, look, it is what it is. So we are going to take our time on this guy here. We just basically want to get our specials down a little bit. I actually, for some reason, goofed and thought this was the final, like the second last stage, and on the final stage, like the next stage was the final stage. So I was like, oh crap, I need to make sure that I get my Vivi Rebecca special back. But then I realized that I had a whole nother turn. And then the spoon in myself, as you guys know, just stuffs it up again. But again, first time running this, still learning the team, and still managed to get it done, which was just actually wild. On the next turn, we come up against and Gidatsu. They're going to bind our bottom row for 4 turns, which goes down to 1 with sockets. We can switch with Shirahoshi, basically remove that easy peasy. And on this particular turn, we can actually use the Kaku special. Now, the big reason to using the Kaku special here is not to actually get any utility or anything like that. It's purely just to use the Smoker's support. Smoker's going to give our quick units a 1.75 times attack boost, and then we can use the special of Reiju to give ourselves a 1.75 times orb boost to our whole team. And ideally, we want to try and take out Now, I got very, very cocky on this particular stage, and I thought I could take out a lot quicker than I actually could. So I actually attacked with Vivi Rebecca here, the one that actually doesn't have non-color affinity, and then realized, oh crap, that was not enough damage. And then I got stuck up Ship Creek without a paddle, and then I basically had to take more turns than I needed to on this particular stage. But lucky for me, I actually had my Magellan special back. So make sure you do have your Magellan maxed. He's a very, very good unit, and he can help out in a lot of different areas, and this is no exception. We actually used the Magellan special on stage 2. That sets the defense to 0, gives a poison and a conditional boost against poison, and that way we can actually take out easy peasy. Gidatsu's then going to give 3 random characters bind for 1 turn. If Shirahoshi doesn't get bind, you can switch and remove that. But as you can see on my particular run, it wasn't meant to be. So I basically just cop the bind, finish off Gidatsu with the special of Shirahoshi Mansherry, getting the chain multiplier buff as well as the chain boost mechanic. Now, before you move on to the final stage against Eneru, you need to make sure your captain is quick. Otherwise, Eneru will not turn into a strength variation, and then you will be struggling hard. But once we move into the final stage against Eneru, we're going to switch with our Vivi Rebecca, or the other Vivi Rebecca, depending on which one isn't in the quick variation. Okay, for me, sorry, we had to switch with the one that has the special, so that way we can actually remove the special one, use their special for the 2 times attack and the 2 times orb, and we can say goodbye to Enel. So there you guys go. That was one quick team beats all the 10-star Garp challenges. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me. And if you're new, hit the big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you're on this beautiful world, make sure to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Let's